Selena's Culinary Corner is brought to you by thewineplace.es, your personal international wine expert.
Yes, indeed, and it's my pleasure to welcome on the programme from the wine place himself, Mark O'Neill. Good day to you, Mark.
Hi, Allan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Now, obviously, here we go. We're heading towards the festive season. Christmas is on the way, and of course, we're all talking about Christmas presents and wines as Christmas gifts. Great idea, isn't it?
It is, but there are a couple of things that you need to bear in mind and pitfalls to avoid.
So obviously, the first thing I suppose is to say, well, how much am I going to spend? And are you buying them for friends or people who work with, or maybe your bank manager? I don't know. What do you recommend?
Well, what I say to people when they come to me is that, Mark, I want to buy a present. And the first thing I ask is, well, how much do you want to spend? It's very important, and there's people say, do I have to spend a lot? Absolutely not. Because when someone says to me, well, Mark, I say, for example, 40 euros or 50 euros. Well, instead of getting a really top well-known wine of 50 euros, my suggestion is always why not buy 2 bottles worth 20 or 3 bottles worth 15?
Okay.
3 different bottles. And in that way you get 3 presents in one. And it shows the person who's going to receive the gift that you have, used a bit of imagination and you have thought about them. And of course, it's something that was going to last for a couple of months or a couple of weeks after opening the present the first time.
And of course, obviously, it also depends on who you're buying that present for, how it's presented, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, there's one funny thing. When people buy presents of wine, it may seem as common sense, but check they drink wine before you buy them.
I thought you might going to say that.
No, I tell you why, because I have a friend of mine here, and I'm in Valencia, and a friend of mine is head of his hospital here, and he says, Mark, every year I get hundreds of bottles of wine, and I don't know how to say to the people, I don't actually drink wine, so...
He's got a bodega in his office, I suppose.
Well, he gives it to all his team, the young doctors and all the nurses.
Lovely.
But it seems, just check. And it is not just him. I know some members of the wine club who buy presents of wine and have said to me, oh, the person really enjoyed it, but they didn't drink wine. They gave it to their father-in-law or give it to their... So, but that's, it's check who it's for and check that they like wine.
And also sort of showing some imagination, some sort of creativity in the wines you buy. I suppose that's quite important as well. I
think it can add a bit of a touch, make it a bit special. Because if you go to, just buy 3 of a well-known brand or a well-known, it's a nice gift. No problem at all receiving a gift of that kind. But if you show somebody, choose a couple of wines that are a bit more original or not straight off the high street, or something which you show that, hey, I've thought about you, and that always goes down well with people, I find.
I mean, obviously, the thing is that when we're sort of thinking to buy wines as presents, I mean, also you can get, I suppose, you get special Christmas or festive packaging, don't you, as well, which is a big help.
Yes.
And obviously trying to sort of actually put out some nice ideas. Oh, I never expected this. Obviously, don't just sort of actually go for the obvious wines. Maybe sort of go further afield and sort of places like South Africa or Australia. That's another sort of thing to look at, isn't it?
One of the things which I say to people here in Spain is, my suggestion is, if you buy something local, buy a nice local wine. But if you buy a second wine, why not choose a wine from, as you say, maybe South Africa, Shiraz from South Africa, or from Australia, and then add maybe a sparkling wine, or maybe a biodynamic wine, or an organic wine, something that. But if you don't need to know about wine, this is important, Dan. You don't need to know about wine in order to make that choice. Talk to someone, ask for some advice, because there are lots of people who are enthusiastic and knowledgeable about wine, including me, who were only too happy to help you and make decisions and buy presents.
Okay, well, let's sort of have a quick chat about sparkling wine. Obviously, cava or champagne. There's some tremendous cavas out there, but you're suggesting doing something slightly different.
You're quite right. There's some wonderful cavas, and my suggestion is avoid the very cheap ones. You will see in the shops here a lot of very, very cheap offers for cava, and it's not good. I usually don't criticize wines. I'd rather not say anything, but it's best. While there's some great cavas, and it is a problem for the image of cavas, the cheap ones, people think, oh, this isn't great. I don't like cava. I said, no,
yes,
just
quite,
buy them. But as you said, there are some wonderful cavas out there, and but instead of just buying your straightforward cava, there are lots of other sparkling wines, like in other French wines that are making. I've been in the wine business for 30 years, and I remember things come back. You know yourself, Alan, that the world is sort of cyclical, and things that come in and out of fashion. And it's the same with wines. Years ago, like the Crémant de Loire or the Clément de Limoux, and it's a French sparkling wines which are made like champagne but don't have the name of champagne, because champagne can only come from the region of
That's
Champagne.
the big difference, isn't it? And people tend to think that if it's not champagne, it's not as good as champagne, but of course it can be just as good.
It can be just as good, and that's something. Just try something that is okay. If it says Crémant, which is Cremant, try it. And of course, the boom in the world of sparkling wines is Prosecco, which
indeed.
Going back over but there are some lovely Proseccos, and I know that it's when the members of the club are making a selection of wines, of different wines from around the world. They'll say, "Oh, and drop in a couple of cases of Prosecco too." It's something. It's a lovely and nice Prosecco. Why is it so successful? One of the reasons is because it's easier to drink. It's nice and fruity and light, and especially for people who are not familiar with wines or have a more sensitive palate, it's very, very, very simple, and it's nice, and you can share it with friends, and it crosses all divides of levels of wine experience and wine knowledge. It's a great icebreaker too.
Indeed it is. I think gone are the days of the bottles of them were the only things you used to get at Christmas parties and such.
Well, back in the day, I was a distributor of Blue Nun in the UK, so I'm so
I didn't even know that, Mark. I honestly didn't.
But hey, no, I know. But you have to, don't knock. Why wouldn't it? Was funny because I was a sales director of a major distributor in the UK, and we had all my sales guys, they would sell Blue Nun. I said, hey guys, we got hundreds of wines to sell. Don't just sell Blue Nun. But it was the one if it worked to introduce wines to consumers, that's good. But the idea is to always try something new, because if you just stick to the same wine, it's like, it's like just like drinking Coca-Cola. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that, but it's just the fact there's so much variety out there.
I was supposing a few years we get Prosecco'd out, won't we? We'll be looking at something else, and that's the way it is. It's all cyclical, as you say.
I was giving a speech here in the university about Prosecco, because the cava producers are very concerned. Oh, why can't we sell Prosecco? And I said, I'm going to give you a little conversation, a part of a conversation I had with a grower, and he was saying, my product is really good, my sparkling is really good, but I can't sell it. I said, yeah, was he from here? No, he was from Prosecco. If you're a very top producer and you have an individual wine from an individual estate that costs a lot more to produce, how do you compete against Prosecco, which is now a massive volume product? And that's so it's not, people think that your problems, if you're a producer, are unique to you. However, it is the same the world over, and it's you have to learn that the consumers have lots of choice, and it's trying to transmit a message to the consumers that makes it easier for them to to try different wines.
Sure, yeah. We're talking with Mark O'Neill of the Wine Place. Now, anything that we need to sort of look out for, what's to avoid when we're sort of buying wines at this time of year?
I think one of the key things to avoid is big discounts. Because, back in the UK, they don't do them anymore, but it used to be buy one, get one free, one, get... And we all became accustomed to buying the offer. Yeah. But ultimately, the offer was the real price. It wasn't the discount, if that makes sense, because everything was sold on promotion. So the wines were priced at an artificial level, and then, oh, look, that's half price today. Yeah, but that is the real price. So I would be wary of something that seems too good to be true, because the saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
It probably is, indeed.
Because it's the really good producers and the good outlets of quality wines. Most of us do this because we're fans and we're enthusiastic and we love wine. It's not a high margin business, so
No.
it's, if something is, really a huge discount, sure, try it, but don't expect too much.
No, we've got to understand, of course, these companies are just, out to sell as much as they can. And of course, it's supermarkets that are led that way. It's been really great talking to you. But look, just as a couple of little points here. Obviously, the important thing is if you're going to sort of give wine as presents, make sure you stick a card on it or something, or put a ribbon around it with a card to let people know where it's coming from.
That again, that seems like common sense, doesn't it? But whenever I say to people, would you like me to put a note? I mean, at the wine place, I get lots. We get lots at this time of year. We're working 18 hours a day to get orders out to people, and we got, I said, hey, would you like us to put just a small note from yourself, a personalized note? Can we do that? Sure, you can. And then we just put a brief description of the wines. And it's just to say, I'm thinking of you, or thanks for this year for collaboration, whatever it is. And it's always, or it's a very good idea just to put a little note of some kind.
Yes, indeed it is, yeah. And of course, the other thing is, of course, you go out and buy all these lovely presents for people. You don't buy any bottles for yourself, do you? You got to do that,
Well, that is something which I gently like to suggest to people in a way that you've made the selection for your friend or whoever it is, your colleague, customer, whoever. And it's this is one of the things you can enjoy yourself and then share the experience with that person. It's not like I bought you a shirt, and that's unique to you. And it's so.
Sure.
So I say to him, hey, buy two, buy one for whoever you're buying it for, and buy one for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good philosophy, I think, indeed. And of course, I mean, we were talking there about things, discounts to avoid, but the one discount we shouldn't avoid, of course, is the 10% that you're offering TRE listeners. That's right. Fantastic offer there. And of course, all they've got to do is go to thewineplace.es and get more details.
Yes, indeed. And I'm absolutely thrilled whenever I receive calls and emails and messages from TRE listeners. And so I'm able to give them some advice and suggestions and hopefully open the world of wine to more and more people.
Well, I have to say, Mark, I hope you have a nice boozy Christmas and, drink in moderation, as I think we should say these days.
Absolutely. Always moderation.
Yes.
No, believe me, it's a joy to drink wine. You don't have, but regularly, but don't overdo it.
Indeed, that's right. Mark, thanks very much indeed. Mark O'Neill from The Wine Place. And as I say, once again, if you want to sort of get that 10% discount, if you're a TRE listener, go to thewineplace.es and get more details. And hope you buy lots of wine from our friend Mark. Thank you very much indeed for your time today. Thank you.
Thanks, Allan.
Take care. Bye-bye.